Previously on Power Reviews. The good doctor has modified our camcorder with a ton of new bells and whistles, including a cloaking device. It's called a squee?
No legal record whatsoever that anyone named Database Ranger has ever existed. Maybe you should worry a little bit less about whether or not I'm real, and a little bit more about yourself.
Kay!
What do you mean, disappeared? Where did I go?
Two guys in suits chasing after you with guns. You know how I escaped?
There appears to have been some sort of power surge during that time which corrupted the footage. You're about to walk directly into the heart of alphabet soup.
Do you remember what happened?
Twins in suits. Freaking a lab coat. A whole lot of sedatives. And somehow, you got me out of all that.
Well, I tried to...
Oh, I'm sorry.
And now, Database Rangers Power Review. Greetings, Ranger fans, and welcome to my latest confusion. I'm sorry! I can explain! maybe if you gave me some sort of clue what it was I was explaining. Can't we talk about this? If it's about that camera falling out of thin air, it's really no big deal. Stealth mode! Okay, well, I'm just gonna head back to my apartment now. I'll be right there in case you need me. Just down the hall on your, you know where it is. But I'll be back later, whenever you wanna, talk or... Yeah. Well, that was pointless. I always imagined that if a girl was to scream and run away from me, it would be because I kissed her out of the blue, not vice versa.
My sentiments exactly.
Thank you so much for your support. And what was all that about with the squee?
You mean the selective quantum utility...
Electronic eyeline, whatever. What happened?
Oh, just the biggest power surge you've experienced yet.
What is the deal with these things? There weren't even any unconscious alphabet soup agents lying around, unless, I don't know, should I check the couch cushions?
This is serious. Apparently whatever this is not limited to the alphabet soup facility, and is capable of shorting out the most advanced piece of technology we currently have at our disposal.
All right. So, what do we do about it?
I've reprioritized the system processes in order to finish compiling the corrupted footage from the last few surges. Whatever's causing this, the answer must be there. So all that's left to do is wait.
Alright, well, on the plus side, you at least got the camera functions working again, right?
Barely. It almost seems to have a mind of its own as of late. Not literally. It just seems that the repeated surges have caused glitches in the temporal dishwasher.
Well, that certainly helped clear things up. Look, maybe we should just take it for a test run and see if we can find the problem.
You mean a review?
Look, it's not like either of us are going to be getting anything done until that thing's done compiling.
Well, I suppose it's long overdue for a proper diagnostic.
Great, because I have a lot of nervous energy right now and could really use an outlet. And with Megaforce back, we've really got to catch up. I've been doing nothing but classic episodes ever since you pulled your little mysterious disappearing act.
Trust me, getting to the bottom of that is still high on my priority list, but I don't want to risk overtaxing the system again. What episode do you want in the queue?
Well, unless I'm mistaken, the next one should be... What do you mean we've already done 40 episodes?
Well, that's what my records say.
Yeah, but even taking automatic generation into account for the episodes I've just randomly talked about, that should only come to...
Indeed.
Well then, I guess there's only one thing to do. Greetings, Ranger fans!
Salutations.
And welcome to Power Reviews! And happy anniversary! Ah! Oh yeah! It's totally still funny.
I thought so.
Anywho, welcome Ranger fans to the 1-year anniversary of Database Rangers Power Reviews. It's been an eventful year, to say the least, and we're glad you guys have been willing to stick it out with us. Hopefully the rest of year 1 will be fraught with a little less peril and a little more entertainment.
But from what I've seen of Megaforce thus far, I wouldn't make any promises.
Optimistic as ever. Care to catch us up on the story so far?
Fine. There isn't one.
Right, so let's see if the story comes into existence in the second half of the season with episode 11 of Power Rangers Megaforce Ultra Power. We start things off at the Mega Cave? Dude, 3 times in 4 episodes. This is amazing.
It
really doesn't take much to impress you at this point, does it?
No, it does not.
After some brief histrionics from the robotic assistant Tensu, the Megaforce Rangers meet with their oversized wall ornament of a mentor, Gosei, who warns them of the uncontrollable threat of an inanimate object.
The Wild Sword, forged countless ages ago to protect the Earth. It became too powerful and had to be sealed with...
I'm confused. Is the implication that the weapon is somehow sentient?
Maybe it was sealed away by Bugs Bunny. So Gosei sends him out to the Black Mountains to retrieve the sword by having them walk there. Come on, is it really so much to ask for him to use teleportation at least once outside of the first episode?
Apparently.
I mean, we're halfway through the season now, and it feels like it's only in that opening narration bit so they can rub our faces in it.
You're not letting this go, are you?
I miss the pretty.
On the way, they occupy themselves with inane chatter over Megaforce Black's previous interactions with Tensu.
We'll just call you the Robot Whisperer from now on.
Gia, your statement does not compute.
But once their conversation returns to the subject at hand, they inadvertently reveal their mission to the inexplicably nearby Vrock, who immediately decides to capture the rogue artifact for himself.
I'll keep the Rangers busy by summoning Distractor.
He meant to say a distraction, right?
I'm not so sure about that. The Rangers jog off in the direction of a clearly non-mountainous region and...
Tensu, we're seeing explosions in the city.
Well, it's good to know it's not an emergency or anything.
Really? My sensors don't detect anything.
Why am I not surprised?
Maybe because Tensu's detection skills amount to...
He's still on Earth.
So the Rangers race off into the brand new opening credits. Sweet! I love new opening sequences.
They're not new.
What?
They were present in episode 10.
Then why didn't you tell me?
Perhaps because I didn't see the ontological relevance of decontextualized images of unintroduced armor upgrades, randomly selected monsters, toxic mutant creatures that, mind you, have still yet to reveal their names, along with even more images of the unintroduced armor upgrades, the droid Templar, and of course an ill-defined humanoid mass of disembodied animal heads.
Okay, fair point. So the Rangers pull a spiffy instamorph along the way and perform a running roll call to absolutely no one before arriving in the city to see that their monstrous foe has jumped the gun and already gone giant.
I'm here to distract! I mean destroy you!
Well, nothing suspicious about that. They summon the Gosei Great Megazord to battle the monster, but soon find themselves facing some unusual complications.
Did we even hit him?
Oh yes! You hit me so unbelievably hard!
It's almost as if I don't actually believe it.
Well, at least the Rangers are equally confused over the monster's antics. After faking another fall, the insectoid, mutant, whatever it is, summons reinforcements in the form of defeated monsters, including some that we never even saw defeated. I guess the Rangers kept themselves pretty busy during the hiatus. They attempt to fight off the mysterious monsters, but to no avail.
You're clueless! You Rangers are too easy to fool!
Clearly a subtle master of the deceptive arts.
Suddenly, from literally out of nowhere, a giant Robo-Knight appears and starts smacking around the monster, informing the Rangers that none of the phantom creatures are real, leading them to continue to attack them anyway. And then... Wait, what just happened? Rewind. Play that back again. Did we just miss some exposition or something?
Time for me to bring you back down to Earth!
There! It seems as if the monster's giant form is an illusion as well, and the droid Templar has disrupted its field of influence.
Ah! And this is what they choose not to exposit? They feel the need to repeat multiple times that this is a distraction and the phantom monsters aren't real. But when two key players in the battle suddenly shift scale in a scene that's already visually muddled by skyscrapers, no one feels the need to comment? That would be like cutting straight from Purple Monkey Dishwasher. I think that analogy got away from you somewhere.
Can't you see this monster stalling for time?
No, they really can't. Finally recognizing that the monster named Distractor was actually distracting them from their real goal, they race off to the hiding place of the Wild Sword, only to find Vrock already there and waiting for them. He spuriously claims possession of the artifact, but this is quickly disproven after he is driven off by the Megaforce Rangers, who then approach the weapon themselves, disrupting a surrounding force field as they do so.
Troy tries the Excalibur approach, but the Wild Sword proves to be much less cooperative than the average Quasar Saber and flies off, only to be snagged by the still lurking Vrock. Turns out, it was all a ploy. First to keep the Rangers busy with Distractor, then to trick them into breaking through the force field. After using his new weapon to lay some serious smackdown on the Rangers, Vrock retreats and summons Distractor to join him in wreaking havoc on the city.
However, after underestimating the droid Templar's tracking ability and overestimating the Wild Sword's willingness to comply, Vrock shocks the weapon into submission and redirects its power into his monster.
Phantom, join me!
I'm not gonna waste time on these illusions again.
Actually, ooh, that's what I thought.
With the Phantom monsters having now attained a corporeal form, they prove to be too much for the Megaforce Rangers, bouncing back from every attack until Vrock moves to finish them off with the Wild Sword.
And promptly loses control to cause millions of dollars in collateral damage instead.
You're just hurting it and forcing it to fight against its wishes.
Yeah, we kind of got that.
The sword isn't out of control. It just doesn't want to follow Vrock's evil command.
Actually, come to think of it, that's probably true.
It must want to protect the Earth too.
Well, I think that's jumping the gun a bit there because...
But if that's true, then why do you think it resisted you?
Now that's a very good question.
Maybe we have to show it that we're worthy first.
Have they finally become aware of what's happening in their own plot?
I think they have.
Good for them! So Troy dives in and grabs hold of the head of the Wild Sword, pulling a freaky Vulcan mind meld with the dragon spirit within, and urging it to break free from Vrock's control and grant its powers to the Rangers.
Your new Ultra powers are unlocked. The time has finally come for you to take control of your new Ultra Swords.
Wow, the economy really has forced people to scale back. We've gone from dinosaur steeds, bazooka-wielding pyramids, and 12-vehicle monstrosities to tiny little floating golden animal heads with funny hats that fit inside gumball machines. Weird.
The Megaforce Rangers activate their new Ultra Mode powers of Storm, Wind, Rock, Jungle, and Wave, immediately turning the tide of the battle against the Insectoid Prince and forcing him to retreat.
Their snow globe-styled Ultra Swords and oddly oversized totemic chest plates are then turned against Distractor and his Phantom monsters, piling them up and finishing them off with the super-powered, ultra-powered Dynamic Strike.
Exhausted, they demorph and attempt to contemplate their newest upgrade.
Guys, this is just so mind-blowing. We've been given so much power.
Yes, in fact the number of Zords alone accrued in the last 11 episodes is at least 22. Consider the mind blown. With their new powers safely stored in their card decks, the Megaforce Rangers return to their base, where they decide to celebrate with an impromptu and heavily uncoordinated dance party.
Oh, come on, you have to admit, that was adorable.
I concede to nothing.
And that's the end of our episode. So, what did we think of it? Well, I have to say, this is probably the most coherent episode we've seen in a while.
Really?
What?
That's the bar we're setting now.
Hey, I'm just calling them as I see them. Believe it or not, it is very refreshing to have a Megaforce episode that actually makes more sense on second viewing instead of less. And some kudos are in order for keeping both the audience and the Rangers equally in the dark on the details of the villain's plans, right up until the nature of their deception is made clear.
Of course, one could argue that a second viewing of events wouldn't be necessary if not for the clunky exposition of every plot point that isn't made immediately obvious.
True, it is kind of a double-edged sword on that front. No pun intended.
None achieved. However, what's more disturbing is this marks the beginning of the second half of the season, and aside from some minor villain turnover and the introduction of the droid Templar, we have observed no meaningful story advancement that was not tied directly to marketing. This applies even to the structure of the episode itself.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that. In fact, apart from the mildly cute dialogue in the cold open and at the very end, this episode is nothing but non-stop more footage. The obvious intent here is to show off the admittedly cool battle sequences, but it also weakens our ability to connect to these characters and the peril that they're facing.
Agreed. And even this attempt to highlight the new powers could be more effective if such events were actually seen as the exception, rather than the rule.
Overall, this episode is a definite step up from what we've been seeing since Robo Knight's introduction, especially helped by some interesting battle sequences. but unfortunately seems to perpetuate Megaforce's bad habit of prioritizing new toys over the development of its story and characters.
Indeed. So make sure to join us next time when we'll be exploring episode 12 of Power Rangers Megaforce, Last Laugh.
Until then, farewell, Ranger fans, and let the power protect you. I think that went well.
I'll check the results of the diagnostic just to be sure.
What was that?
The compiler must be done processing.
Great. You make sure to let me know what you find out.
Database?
What?
I think you need to see this.
Is that me?
It would appear so. Yes.
Show me the last surge. What on earth?